on TikTok. So please show your support on all platforms. Right, we're on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time of day it is when you're watching. Welcome to the live stream where I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen, but that's how we roll, ladies and gentlemen. Raven rolls. Raven jumps in the Raven will always jump in the deep end without any flotation devices and say, yeah, I got this. I will literally jump in that deep end. I will say, don't worry, guys, I got this. I will jump in that deep end and I'll just deal with whatever I come across. But look, guys, this absolutely broke me today. I don't think I've done a live stream like this, and this is going to be pretty not low down. This is going to be pretty down to earth and brutal. So if you prefer more of the guns, bombs, tanks, trains, planes, automobiles, tactics, nuclear weapons, all that sort of stuff, this is not the live stream for you. This is going to be a brutal one, guys, okay? This absolutely broke me today. And I started doing these, when I started doing these videos, I started doing military, aliens, the occult, but then the country just got like destroyed. I don't know any other way to say this, guys, but the country got absolutely destroyed, and it's been destroyed. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is I've got a few news articles to talk about, and this is pretty wild as well. You can't Google these. I'll come on to that in a second. But right now, if you live in the United Kingdom, guys, get out. That's my advice to you. Get out now. Nothing good's coming to the United Kingdom. I'm still here. We've got 2 girls at school, and it's going to be very difficult for us to leave. Right, girls, do you want to leave school? No, Daddy, I've got all my friends. Right, okay, fair enough. So I get that. So today, I'm going to be honest with you. This absolutely broke me. The news that one taxi company in the United Kingdom, and I know I've done a video about this before earlier on today. I know I have. If you've not seen that, go and check it out. It's on TikTok. It was just basically a rant for like 2.5 minutes. So one taxi company, one, just hear this out, guys. One taxi company, one taxi company. This is not a national figure. This is one company. This is not a national figure for a year. This is one company per year for 1 month. I grew up in Rotherham. I did, ladies and gentlemen. I grew up in Rotherham in the 90s. For those of you guys want to know what the significance of that is, I'm not going to spell it out for you. Go Google it if you can anymore, and I will come on to that in a minute. I grew up in Rotherham in the 90s, and I understand. I've got to be very careful while I'm on TikTok, and I don't want to offend anybody, but equally, I don't care anymore. I really don't care anymore. I'm more worried about getting Lucy Conlid and not being able to provide for my girls. I don't care about offending people. So, like I said, I grew up in Rotherham in the 90s, and I understand how taxi companies operate. I don't think that's controversial at this point, what I'm saying. I understand how taxi companies operate. Some of them. And then when I saw this article in the mainstream media, one taxi company, this is just government funding now. This is just government funding. One taxi company in the United Kingdom has claimed 344. This is what the mainstream media is saying. I don't know whether this is true. It could be fake news, but this is what the mainstream media is reporting. One taxi company in the United Kingdom, one has claimed £344,000 for 1 month's work. I don't know how that happens, guys. I don't know how that happens. And look, when I said earlier on in the video, and I've got to say it again, for entertainment purposes, and what I'm going to say is not true, and TikTok algorithm, I've got to be like, in fact, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think, so this is a question, this is not a statement, this is a question. I don't know the answer to this. This is why I'm asking this question. Do you think some taxi drivers may say to their customers, hello, mate, oh, you're getting paid for by the government. Well, how about I put you down as this trip cost £600 when it only cost 50, and you get 200, I get 200, and the taxi firm gets a little bit more, or something like that. Do you think do you think there's a possibility of that happening? I don't know. Honestly, guys, it's unbelievable. So I am going to be talking about that today, guys. It really did break me. Absolutely broke me. One taxi ride cost £600. And you wonder, and you know when, like, look, guys, we live in the north of England. And if you don't live in the north of England, I don't know what things are like in other parts of the country, but in the north of England, the amount of homeless people I've started to see. We live in a small village. We live in a small village, and the closest, like, shop to us is one of those, is it Tesco Extra? I think it's, you know, the little Tesco shops? You guys know what I'm talking about. But it's one of the Tesco shops that has to be put in, like, a traditional building. So that's where we live. That's our closest shop. I don't go there that often. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. So what I do is I drive into the town, and I spend more fuel getting into the town, and then I try to get some bargains, and I come back, and it's probably a false economy. But even in our small village, we have homeless people outside Tesco's begging for money. This is a new thing. This is a new thing, guys. It is. So when we're looking at tax raises, you know, young families, couples, parents, trying to make ends meet, genuinely, you know, women who are struggling, single mothers who are struggling, you know, they're trying to help their children, dads who are trying to work every hour that God sends to put food on the table. Don't worry about it, ladies and gentlemen. The tax that you are paying, it is being well spent. I don't know how I can make this live stream like, linguistically attractive. I really don't, and I'm confident I won't get many views on this on YouTube. But where do we go as a society, guys? Where are we right now? I want to talk about aliens. I do. I want to talk about aliens. I want to talk about the asteroids that are heading towards Earth. I want to talk about transdimensional beings. I want to talk about space exploration. I've got my hand on my heart. That's what I want to talk about. We can't deal with any of that. None of that until we deal with the pressing matters right now, which is the United Kingdom has been sold. We're being subverted. You know, go check out my videos on subversion. I articulate and quantify what Peanut Butter is saying. I want to talk the real Ravens first, Brandy. Right, okay. So I'm going to be starting my first brandy on Saturday. So what are we on? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this Saturday, is it when? Yes, Wednesday today. This Saturday, I'm going to be starting my first brandy. I'm going to try and make my first brandy on Saturday. Right, I'm going to give you these headlines and then I'm going to come onto the comments. But guys, honestly, I don't know where I go with this right now. It's phenomenal. Oh, and real quick, if you try and Google this, so if you put into Google, try it yourselves, guys. Please, everybody, if you're watching right now, try this yourselves. Just put 344k taxes. You would think that this would come up. I did that earlier and I got nothing. I got, oh, that means nothing. Oh, I thought, right, okay, 344k migrant taxes. Nothing. I was like, right, this can't be right. So I had to look at the screenshot I did on my TikTok and I had to put it in word for word. So I would speculate, and this is just me speculating right now, that Google is being suppressed right now. Go and check it out for yourselves. Guys, please, will you do that? In fact, I'm going to do it right now. 344k taxes. Yeah, go and do that, guys. Please go and put 344k taxi. You get nothing. If you put 344k migrant taxes, you get nothing. And by nothing, I mean nothing. Like it comes up and it says error. Okay, let me try this. 344,000 spent on. So I've just put 344,000 spent on migrant taxes. Nothing. I'm getting nothing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting nothing on that. So I don't go and try that out for yourself. I would say right now that Google's been suppressed, that somebody behind the scenes in the government have said, right, Google, we can't let people search for this. Because after a few attempts, people just go, I'm not going to give. I'm just going to give up on that. I'm just going to give up on that. I'm not going to. But you really need to put the exact words in. So I'm just going to give you the headlines right now, guys. So here's the thing: people can't say that this is not being reported on because it is. It's just being suppressed. Right, where are we? This is from the Express. Fury. This is the one I did the screenshot. Fury, as Home Office contractor, spends £344,000 a month on taxes for asylum seekers. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp, is that Philip? Philp, no, it's Philp. Accused Labour of writing a blank check for immigration. I don't know what else you can say, guys. This is broken me. Absolutely broken me. I grew up in Rotherham. If you guys want to Google, listen, if anybody's international and you guys want to know what Rotherham is famous for, just go and put that in Google. Go and do a Google search. What is Rotherham famous for? I'll wait. Fury as Home Office contract. Can we not talk about aliens? Can it not be Fury as alien race probes British government officials? Furious Home Office contracted. So this is one company, guys. All right, this is not this number, £344,000. That's not for a year. That's not for the whole country. That is one company, literally one company for 1 month. And you guys are worried about how you're going to put food on your tables. You're worried about Christmas coming. You're worried about the price of electricity. You're worried about the price of gas. That makes you a racist. I don't even know what to say anymore, guys. Honestly, I'm just like, I'm destroyed. This has broken me in like so many ways. So that's one headline. And you really do have to find these headlines because it comes up as nothing, absolutely nothing. Nothing. Like if you put the wrong words in here, you get nothing. Error, 440 error or whatever it is. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I can see the chat going. I'm looking at the time. I will jump onto the chats in a minute, but again, like I started this live stream. I said to you at the beginning of this live stream, this is not a normal live stream. This really has broken me. Like, this has broken my soul. I see every day. Every day I see it, guys. Every day. Every day I see poverty. I see people struggling. I see people like, when you're in the supermarket, guys, this is breaking me. It really is. When you're in the supermarket, right? When you're in the supermarket and there's like, I don't know if this has happened. When you're in the supermarket and there's like a mum in front of, well, I perceive it to be a mum. Maybe a dad, I don't know. It's 2025. When there's like a mum and her kids in front of you, and she's scanning, and like the checkout lady's scanning the shopping through, and she tells her the price, and she's like, oh, it's, I don't know, 105, 65 pounds, whatever the price is. And she says, oh, I've only got 60. And then she has to put stuff back. What the fuck? What the actual fuck, guys? And those people who are having, like you, maybe you, look, guys, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I don't struggle financially. I don't want to be a dick about that. We don't struggle I'm like my niche, what I do as a job, like very few people can do it. I get to charge ridiculous amounts for it. But when you're stood behind that woman with her kids, I need to be careful what I'm saying. When you stood behind that woman with her kids, and like the checkier, or I don't know what they're called, the person on the thing, they're like, oh, that's 65 pounds, and the woman in front, she says, oh, I've only got 60. What do? Do you pay it for her? I've done that before. I've done that before, and I felt a dick for doing that. I felt a dick for doing that. But that's where we are in the United Kingdom right now. So that woman and her family are probably working, paying tax, and I pay a shitload of tax. Fucking crazy amount. But that woman and her husband or her partner are probably working jobs to put food on the table, and they can't afford to put food on the table. They are literally putting food back because they can't afford to put food on their table. But do you know that tax money that they're spending? Do you know where that's going? You guys know what I'm going to say. It's broken me, guys. Absolutely broken me. And I don't usually swear. I try not to swear. And in my personal life as well, I very rarely swear. Anyway, so that's where we are, guys. That is where we are right now. I am going to come on to the chat in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. The chat's going to be right. Is everybody behaving on the chat? I think everyone's behaving on YouTube. It looks like everyone's behaving on YouTube. Yeah, it looks like everyone's behaving on YouTube. Another headline. Shabina Mahmood orders urgent review into migrant taxi. I don't, guys. Does anybody believe anything Shabina Mahmood says? I don't believe her. Shabina Mahmood. She said that she's a Muslim first. You know what? No, she didn't say that. I need to be careful. She said that Islam dictates her life. She also, when she went into parliament, she swore on the Quran. I don't know. Is that any significance? Shabina Mahmood orders urgent review into migrant taxi use amid fury over blank check. Fury erupted after an asylum seeker living in taxpayer-funded. It gets worse. Fury erupted after an asylum seeker living in a taxpayer-funded hotel said he was told to take a £600 taxi journey to see a consultant. So let's just think about this. Some guy, I'm assuming it's a guy because they're all guys, came over from whatever. Guys, should I just jump over to YouTube right now? Because I don't know how long I can bite my tongue. I really don't know how long I can bite my tongue. Absolutely. Joe, I'm going to go on to the next one. Home Secretary to review cost of taxes for asylum seekers. And then there's a picture of her smiling. Little Shabina in a taxi. Ooh. Shabina Mahmood orders investigation after one migrant runs up £600 bill for one taxi ride. £344,000 for one taxi per month. Per month, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even earn that. Guys. I don't even earn £344,000 a month. Unbelievable. Right, I'm going to jump on and get the comments. Right, can you bear with me a minute, ladies and gentlemen? I literally need, can you give me like 2 minutes to run to the toilet? I know I did this earlier on. I'm sorry. I'm just going to run to the toilet. I'm going to come back. I won't be long. Keep tapping that screen, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about this has absolutely broken me. This is not a normal live stream where I've got didactics and numbers. I am just ranting at you guys right now. I'm just ranting at you because this 100% as a taxpayer, and I pay a lot of tax, this has broken me. Give me a minute and I'll be back. And I'm back. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I think right now that I need like a ribeye and a pint of beer. Or maybe a cheeseburger and a pint of beer. Maybe a cheeseburger and a ribeye and a pint of beer. Or maybe like a ribeye burger and I don't know. Right, let me get some of the comments, guys. I do apologize. I've just been ranting. Right. You know what? I'm going to start with YouTube. I'm going to start with YouTube this evening. Right. Potsinator is saying, what's more irritating is Keir Starmer. Yeah. Oh, wow. Guys, look. Potsinator, thank you so much for this. I actually registered this like earlier on today, but you've just reminded me. So if you want to see how subversion works, go and watch Keir Starmer's comments. Like, you know, Keir Starmer's comments are the modern equivalent of somebody urinating on you and from height, looking you in the eye and saying, it's raining. Are you a racist? No. If you say I'm urinating on you, you're a racist. What? Hey? If you say I'm urinating on you, you're a racist and you'll get your universal basic income turned off. If you say it's raining, then you get your money. It's raining. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's where we are, guys. It's unbelievable. Nymphadora is saying, I fancy a pint of Guinness. Nymphadora, go and get yourself a pint of Guinness. Apparently there's lots of iron in it. Kirsty Taylor, sorry, not Christy, says, Call of Duty vids, thank you for letting me know I've just finished. Call of Duty vids. I don't know. I don't play Call of Duty. Oh no, there's sorry. There's somebody in the chat called Call of Duty vids. I do apologize. From now is saying Rushana Ali has resigned as homelessness. I can't do it anymore. I can't do this anymore. From now, oh no. Is this the new one? Oh no, this is the old one actually. This is the old one. No. Sorry. So from now he's saying that, look, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but if you're living in the United Kingdom, the homelessness minister in the United Kingdom had to resign because she was making people homeless. I'm not making that up. That is literally what happened. Sorry. Oh, I don't smoke. Maybe I should start. Silly Gallardi is saying, what's more shocking is that nobody is even trying that. You know, I agree with Silly. So let's just think about this statement here that Silly on YouTube is saying. And guys, if you're watching, I will be jumping over to YouTube at some point. I don't know whether it's going to be soon. I don't know how much I can hold my tongue. The algorithm on TikTok just nails me. It absolutely nails me. I get blocked all the time, guys. I really do. I get blocked and banned all the time from TikTok. So Silly Gallardi over on YouTube is saying, what's more shocking is that no one is even no one's trying to hide it anymore. And all the stuff, it's there in front of you. Say that to yourselves, guys. Just, you know, when you're struggling to put food on the table, and I see this every day, guys. I see this every day. You know, when you're struggling to put food, I can only pay for so much, guys. I wish I could pay for more. But you know, when you're struggling to put food on the table, and like at the beginning of November, when you think, oh, we've only got one more payday before Christmas. You know when that sinks in? And you're looking at these hotels and there's all these people. Throw that food away. I don't want it. You know when you're putting that food on the table and your kids are like, oh, mummy, we don't want this. We don't like this. You know when that happens, guys? just remember where your tax money is going. Hey, Sean, on the upside, your sweater, come on, grab a carbonated drink and talk aliens. Do you know what? I've got a new sweater coming from TikTok shop. It's got a stag there and it's got suede elbow patches. I can't wait for this thing to arrive because honestly, I am going to wear the shit out of it. And as far as carbonated drinks go, I really do feel like I deserve one this evening, guys. I really do. Endeavour to Preserve on YouTube is saying, can you start a petition to join the United States and get enough people to sign, and the government must pay attention to it? With these petitions, they don't really do anything. The government, they have to talk about it, but they don't really need to do anything. I think what will really happen is I think Nigel Farage is the man to do this. And look, guys, I've got a lot of American friends. I have. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys will understand that I've been saying this for a while. You know, we go on a, in fact, I'm just, the phone, I just reminded, I need to check the group chat. Give me a second, right there. 4 messages. No, it's all about Oktoberfest. Right, so that's, okay, slightly off topic. We're supposed to be going to Oktoberfest. I don't know if it's going to happen. What I think will happen with the Americanization of the United Kingdom is as soon as Nigel Farage gets in or reform gets bigger, I'm not convinced they're going to win the next election, contrary to popular belief. I think the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, they'll just stop the boats. I mean, I could stop the boats. If I had the authority of Keir Starmer, I could stop the boats. What I would do, I'd stand up in Parliament. I would say, Czy jakieś pytanie, człowieka? Dawaj. And then I'd speak English. I would say, I'm instructing the Navy to go out to the English Channel and to return any boats back to France. That's what I'd say. And you would stop the migrant crisis within 6 hours. Within 6 hours of Keir Starmer saying that, there would be 0 boats coming. If you think I'm just jumping on this bandwagon right now, ladies and gentlemen, go and check my TikTok account. Literally, one of the pinned videos at the top, I've got like some, I think they're blue MMA shorts. No, they're not. I think they're red. Blue or red, I can't remember. I might be wearing a blue top and red shirt. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. You know, under international law, you don't need to leave the ECHR to stop the migrant crisis. So the real question is, if we can stop the migrant crisis into the United Kingdom without leaving the ECHR, without breaking any international laws, why are we not doing that already? The only logical conclusion is because we don't want to. And by we, I don't mean me. Trust me, guys, all right? I live in a small village in the north of England. We have seen homelessness in the last 5-10 years. The likes you've never, like, you know, when you think of these little, like, picturesque English villages, that's where we live. I'm not going to give you the name because I don't want to dox myself. But if you think of one of those little villages, you've got, like, you know, the what's it called? Not ours, but like a lot of the buildings are like, it's like white with the is it lime wash? I think it's lime wash. Like, you know, the white lime wash buildings with the painted black oak beams. You know, that's kind of the village where we are. And I'll tell you now, the last 5 years, we have seen homeless people turn up to our little strip mall. There's a Tesco's. There's a little bakery. there's a post office, and there's a pharmacy. That's it. That's all we have. That and a cash machine. Yeah, that's all we have. So that's where we live. Now we have homeless people there. I don't know where they're coming from. They're coming from a long way away because it's a relatively it's a relatively affluent area. Of course it is. I live there. It's unbelievable, guys. And I see this every day. I see this every day, and I've seen the absolute degradation of the United Kingdom. It's devastating to watch, guys. It's painful to watch. Painful to watch. Trevor Pitchard is saying this country and people have no backbone anymore. I often, I've thought about this a lot. I've thought about this a lot because when I was in the military, and I was in the military, we did things in the military. Like I've done things in the military that would be like Hollywood bestsellers. Outnumbered, outgunned, no air support, about to get overrun. And you've overcome those things. So Trevor, and I'm still here. So Trevor Pritchard is saying that this country has no backbone. The people have got no backbone. I don't think it's that. I think the people of this country need leadership. And if the government said, and I'm not advocating, I'm not advocating this at all. Let me rephrase that. The people of this country work well under leadership, and they can become greater than the sum of their own parts under leadership, under direction. For example, East India Company. Right, lads, go out there, take what you plunder, and just say it's part of the British Empire. Yeah, I got you. Well, let's go and plunder. British Empire expands. That's what happened. Let's not pretend it didn't, because it did. But right now, we have this situation where we're being invaded, but we're not allowed to defend ourselves. And because we are law-abiding citizens, we abide by the law. And that's where it is, guys. It's bonkers. Right, let me get some comments on TikTok. Hello, everyone on TikTok. You beautiful people on TikTok. I'm looking at some of the names on TikTok, and you guys, I don't know if that's your pictures on TikTok, but you guys really are beautiful. Right, I'm going to jump up and get some pictures and some comments, and these are not the most beautiful. I'm just going to start from the bottom, and I'm going to work my way up. Right, so James is talking to Keza. Gudo13, hang on a minute, right, the chat's going crazy. Gudo1303 is saying, no one taking the jobs, the British are not smart enough to do them. Okay, Gudo, I'm just going to leave you there, Gudo. I'm going to leave it there. 5 more arrested in Oldham. Yeah, Google is saying, Keza Patricia is saying, I hated school. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I was thinking today about taking the girls out of school. I was looking, I was thinking, right. So when the girls come back from school, I'm like, right, what have you done? What have you learned today? What's your first lesson? What's your second lesson? What's your, what did you learn in those lessons? Like a couple of not this week, like last week or the week before, I had to phone school up, and one of the girls was told by the teacher. I mean, it's unfair that they've got me as a dad. I feel sorry for the teachers, but one of the girls got told that the moon shines light onto Earth, and I said, what? No, the moon reflects light. And she said, no, Daddy, I said that to the teacher. And she said, no, it shines. And I was like, trust me, all right? It doesn't. The moon doesn't shine. The moon reflects. It's like Rihanna, you know, shine bright like a diamond. Stop it, Rihanna. Diamonds don't shine, they reflect. Reflect bright like a diamond. That's fine. That, you know, that's scientifically correct. Doesn't matter. It's Rihanna. You know, she can do whatever she wants with a little whatever she's doing. Rihanna. I wish I don't know any Rihanna songs. Anyway, so you know, I do ask this, and I was thinking, like, what are they actually learning, kids at school? Like, what are they learning them at school? We check up on the kids when they've come back every day. They come back from school and they're right. Sit down. Tell us what you've learned. Oh, Daddy, no, you're telling us what you've learned. And you know, it's if you do that with your kids, you kind of get an understanding of what the education system is. But you know, I will be honest. Who said that? Somebody said that. Somebody on the chat said something about leaving. They didn't like it in school. And I'm genuinely thinking about. I'm not considering it, but I am looking at the options of bringing the girls out of school. Guys, there's so many questions on. There's so many. I can't get these comments on the chat. There are so many comments on the chat. Rose is saying, hang on, let me pin Rose. I will pin Rose. Rose is saying, the country is on its knees and we are just making it worse. Yeah, we're on our knees, guys. Absolutely. Like I keep saying, this news today absolutely broke me. I don't even want to be animated about this. It just broke me. You know, when you go, because I see this every day. I see people struggling every day. And you know, I will admit, a lot of people struggling, they bring it on themselves, you know. But ultimately, I would rather my tax money go to help people who are struggling from this country than taxi companies that may or may not, you know, that may or may not be able to, I don't know. Gudo is saying rent times 3. I don't know what that means. Googly is saying Gudo has 2 mums. I don't know what that means. I'm a she, thank you, with it. Oh, hang on a minute. Right. Gudo is saying I'm a she, thank you, with a degree and a lovely home in Pakistan and a home in the United Kingdom. Do you know what, Gudo? Good for you. Good for you with your home in Pakistan. I'm pinning this comment. Right, Gudo, just quickly. I'm assuming you are of Pakistani descent. What is it about the United Kingdom? Why did you come to the United Kingdom and buy a home here? I'm just, you know, straight up question, Gudo. So Gudo's saying she's got a degree. Again, I don't know what that degree is in. I don't think it's relevant. But she says she's got a lovely home in Pakistan, and I know you can buy a lot of property in Pakistan for a fraction of what you can in the UK. But Gudo, if you live in the United Kingdom, why did you come to the United Kingdom? Just straight up question. I'm just sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find Gudo's answer here. Very much, yes, I am. I was born here. Okay. So how did you? Okay, so Gudo, so you were born in the UK. I'll flip that question. How come you have a house in Pakistan if you was born in the UK? Just a straight question, like, Why would you buy a house in Pakistan? If, like, do you not consider yourself British? Like, again, and I'm me being 100%, you know, I'm not being a douchebag here. Like, I'm genuinely fascinated about the people who were born in the United Kingdom that still see themselves as foreigners. You see where I'm going with that? And honestly, Gudo, I'm genuinely fascinated. I would love to talk to you, Gudo, and like a total respectful conversation. But Gudo, if you live in if you were born in the United Kingdom, but you class yourself as Pakistani, and you buy a house in Pakistan, like, will your children class themselves as British, or will your children class themselves as Pakistani? And what about their children's children? You see where I'm going with this, Gudo? And you see it as like a native British person, gentleman, fully qualified English gentleman, might I add. You understand the problems that this brings to our society. Because now we've got people who are first, second, third, maybe even fourth generation Pakistani who don't actually see themselves as British. They see themselves as Pakistani. And Gudo, I mean, absolutely no disrespect, Gudo. Absolutely no disrespect. It's just a genuine question that I would love to get an actual answer to. I really would. Gudo is saying, hang on. Gudo is saying, do you consider me British? First of all, Gudo, I don't know you. I don't know you, Gudo. I'm sure you're a lovely person. I've met lots of lovely Pakistanis and Indians and lots of lovely people. I don't know you. The real question is, do you consider yourself as British? Whatever I think doesn't matter. Do you like drinking a warm beer on a Sunday afternoon, watching cricket, eating a cucumber sandwich, sat in a Chesterfield chair, watching people dance around a maypole? If the answer is yes, you're probably British. I would consider you as British. It's got nothing to do with colour of your skin. So, you know, I'm genuinely, it's a genuine question. Okay, so Gudo is saying, I do consider myself as British. Okay, so why have you got a house in Pakistan? Guys, look, guys, people are putting things on the chat on YouTube that I don't like. And like, let's be courteous and polite to everyone, all right? I don't like people being rude. I really don't, like, guys. If you're writing a comment and you think it's rude, just don't write it. All right. I don't like that. I don't like people being rude. I don't mind wars. I don't mind, you know, tactics, planes, trains, automobiles, all that sort of stuff. But when you start being rude to people, that's when I get upset. Right, okay, right. I'm just trying to get these comments here, guys. The comments are going crazy on YouTube. That we want them all out. I don't know what that means. Oh, Gudu, hang on. For fear-mongering, that is what's happening today in this country. Right, okay, Gudo. Gudo, with respect, do you think it's fair that white people are worried about their children being raped by Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? You're mentioning fear-mongering there. Like, so this is a direct question, Gudo. Do you think, so this is a straight question, Gudo. You're saying people are fear-mongering in this country. Do you think it's fear-mongering that mums and dads with white girls are worried about those girls getting gang raped by Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs? Do you think that's a fair fear that people have? I'd love to hear your answer on that. Right, Gudo, I'll be asking the questions. Thank you very much. Right, Gudo, I'm giving you a massive platform here. What about white grooming gangs? This is the thing, isn't it? Okay, Gudo, Gudo, right. With respect, Gudo, I grew up in Rotherham. I grew up in Rotherham in the 90s, all right? I was born in 82. I grew up in Rotherham in the 90s. I do know what I'm talking about here. So, Gudo, with respect, you know, and this is what, Gudo, I want to converse with you, but please be articulate and answer my questions. But seeing as you've not answered my question and you've thrown a question back at me, which is, what about white grooming gangs? And yes, I feel that is a worry. So what about white grooming gangs? Do you know the percentage of white grooming gangs? Like, tell me, Gudo, how many groups of white men are patrolling the streets trying to find Pakistani girls? Do you know what the percentage of is that? I don't. I'd say it's less than 1%. I'd say it's a fraction of 1%. James is saying, stop it, Sean. Drop it, Sean. You're going to be closed down. I don't care right now, guys. I don't care. Okay, so Gudo is saying, yes, you are right. Thank you, Gudo. And look, Gudo, I'm just trying to look, guys. When conversation breaks down, that's when violence happens, and I'm trying to keep this conversation open here. So Gudo is saying, yes, you are right. Thank you, Gudo, and I really respect you. I really respect your honesty. So previously, you're saying I'm right. So previously, when you said sorry, that people in this country are fear-mongering. And then I said to you, is it fear-mongering if you're a white parent and you're worried about your things happening to your girls? Now you're saying that's right. So, Gudo, with respect, can you try and just reevaluate your fear-mongering comment? Because I don't think people are fear-mongering. I really don't. I think there's a genuine fear. And I think that fear is, it's not a phobia. Right, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm going to jump over to YouTube in a second. Not in a second. I'm going to jump over. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, guys. The chat. I've just realised the time. The time is we're almost up to an hour. I'm going to be jumping over to YouTube on an hour. If you've not done so, guys, please go and join us over on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven One on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven One on X. I'm the Real Raven One on TikTok. I don't do this as much as I should. I know I need to do this more often. Can you please hit the like, follow, subscribe button? All those things that help, that help the channel grow, because I really do appreciate it, guys. I really do. I really appreciate each and every one of those taps. I'm going to jump over and get some comments on YouTube, guys. I've just been conscious that I've been focusing on the YouTube, on the TikTok chat. Right, let me jump over. Gareth O is saying factory explosion in Swindon. Gareth O, I will Google that in a second. Is that from a military industrial complex factory? Lord of Langwitz is saying we gave the world the thing that changed the world, the railways. Do you know what, Lord of Langwitz? I actually think it was the internal combustion engine. And for those people who said it wasn't Britain who invented the internal combustion engine, yes, it was. It was just in the form of a steam engine. Now, the steam engine did its own thing with the Industrial Revolution, but the internal combustion engine was just an evolution of the steam engine. And the jet engine, of course, which is British. And radar. Silly is saying, you still have the best TV crime series. I don't know. What is that? Taggart? I don't know. Luke Apples is saying Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham claims Labour MPs are quietly encouraging him to contest Keir Starmer for the party leadership. I would say he's a good choice for Labour. I think he's a good choice for Labour. But politics, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this so many times, politics is like changing the wheels on a broken car. You've still got a broken car. We need a total revamp of the system. Templar Matt is saying we don't need leadership. We the people are the leaders. We need a government that will speak and do for us, but they don't listen, call everyone far right, change the laws without people's votes. Yeah. So when I used to rub shoulders with the powerful, one of the questions, I remember this bar, there's a bar in Kiev called what's it called? I can't remember its name. It'll come to me. It's like it's an art bar. You go down. It's in a basement. You go down these stairs, and it was a massive culture shock for me when I went to this bar. Went there at like, I don't know. You could go to this bar at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And you'd go in this bar, and it's like a big library. And imagine what like a bar in the UK would be like at 2 o'clock. Whatever you think about a bar in the UK at 2 o'clock, imagine this is the scene. You go down these stairs into a basement or a cellar, and you're in a library, and there's a bar in the library, books everywhere. And in one corner, there might be some people reciting Shakespeare as a play. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I promise you guys, next time I go to Kiev, I'll do a live stream there. And in the other corner, you might have somebody drawing pictures and doing portraits. And like, it's so civilized. Where was I going with this? I have no idea where I was going with this. I have no idea where I was going with that, guys. Where was I going with that? I don't know. But Matt is saying we don't need... yeah, that was it. So I used to go down there with... it was a good place to go because it was 24 hours. And you could, obviously, 24 hours, you can go there whenever you want. No, that's not what it was called. So you can go down there whenever you want, 24 hours. So for me... when I was meeting people coming into Ukraine, Americans, Canadians, British, like, you know, lots of people, you know, I knew that that bar was always open. So I could always take people there. I would get a phone call at like, you know, midnight. Hey, Sean, we got some VIPs coming in, and we really want to put the good foot forward. So could you go meet them? They're gonna be at my den at 1 o'clock. Can you just meet them and take them for a few? I mean, yeah, no worries, I'll go and do that. So anyway, one of the questions in this particular night I remember was, is the role of a government to do the right thing, or is the role of the government to do what the people want? Because those things are not always, those things don't always have a synergy. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we're getting to that time. Lulu, and I'll let Lulu is saying, I believe in aliens. Lulu, let me let you into a little secret, okay? Intelligent life is almost a mathematical certainty when you, in our understanding of the universe. Lulu is saying as well, hang on, aliens go back to Egypt times. Look at the writing on the tombs. It actually goes a lot further back than that, Lulu. If you look into Egyptology, Egyptology is just Mesopotamian scripture redeveloped. So, you know, that is, you know, that's, you know, look at Mesopotamia, which is the oldest written accounts. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this. Right. Thank you, Gareth. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to talk about what's happening in Swindon as soon as I jump over to YouTube. So there is an incident developing in Swindon right now. 10 fire engines, drones, multiple helicopters at the scene, explosions. I am going to be talking about that. There's also been explosions in Scotland at a hydroelectric plant. I am going to jump over to YouTube now, guys. The crux of this video was, or this live stream was, really did break me today, guys, how much money people are paying on taxes. And I think this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is only a tiny amount that we're finding out about. Look, guys, I'm going to jump over to YouTube now. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. I'm the first thing I do when I jump over to YouTube, I'm going to look what's happening in Swindon. We're going to give live analysis about that. What I will say is, when every time I hear my first initial response is, could this be sabotage? I've said sabotage is coming for a long time. I'm going to look at that. We're going to be looking at Google Earth. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not going to be joining me over on YouTube, I will be back on tomorrow morning at 10. And I hope to see you there. Right, we're off. Right, let me just jump this up, guys. Swindon explosion. Wow, that's huge. Right, you know what? I'm going to do it on here. We'll share and we'll watch this together, guys. We'll do this together. Search. We'll go with the BBC, and then I will share this with you guys, and we'll read it together. Maybe later. Okay, so crews attend serious explosion at warehouse incident. Right, okay. What was the warehouse? What was inside that? Was it drones? Was it parts of drones? Was it communication equipment? Was it satellite equipment? I don't know. I'm going to try and find a street. Right, okay. Crompton Road, Swindon. Swindon. Let me just look at this on the other thing, guys. Crompton Road Industrial Estate. Right, let's get this on the map and let's see what's there. Right, I'm getting logistics. I'm getting Neptune. What's Neptune Europe? Warehouse. Lots of warehouses there, guys. RA Technical. What's that? Wheel shop. We're not interested in that. Right, let me try and get more information on this. Police, ambulance, crews. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Explosions at the warehouse. Wiltshire police decides described incident as serious. Guys, can you remember last year when there was the fires at the DHL? There was fires at DHL, and one of the things I said straight away is, okay, I'm not saying this is sabotage, but like, what's in those warehouses? What are DHL transporting? And it turned out there was a total media blackout, and then it turned out that the DHL were actually actually transporting Starlink. Starlink communications devices for Ukraine, and all, and those things had been set on fire. So obviously, if I say this is sabotage, right, here we are. Where's Crompton Road? Is that Crompton Road? Right, I think we've got right. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to look here. There's loads of stuff here. This is massive. Jungle Kingdom indoor play. I don't think it's that. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. T-shirts. Not Jungle Play. Not that one. Guys, there are so many. There's lots of logistics companies around that area. Right, we've got Uniboss, Neptune, Europe. These are warehouses, right? Uniboss, Neptune, Europe. We've got Europe Car, Swindon. We've got Howard Tenson Logistics. We've got Jungle Kingdom. I don't think it's that. We've got Indiepack Logistics. We've got Scots of Stowe. Don't know what that is. We've got On-Site Rail, which is general contract. Lots of storage facilities there, guys. I don't know what this is. Wasp Industry. That's not it. I'm just trying to look with my. I'm just trying to look and get a feel of what the. I think it's one of these logistics. Right. Let's continue on the article. A Force spokesperson said they are working to evacuate the immediate area and that people living nearby should stay indoors and keep their windows and doors closed. Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue said they are dealing with a large warehouse fire. I'm going to call it, guys. I think this is sabotage. Dozens of residents have written on social media so that their houses were shaking following the explosion. And that is literally all we've got, guys. That is literally all we've got. From the information I've got right now and putting this into context into what has previously happened in the United Kingdom, I would say the likelihood that this is sabotage is high. Although I can't, I reserve the right to change my mind. Lots of, let me just look at where that is. What roads is that close to? Well, it's close to Bristol Airport. Yeah, you have got a lot of military bases around there as well. Yeah, lots of military bases around. Oh, God, loads, actually. Loads of, wow. Yeah, loads of military, loads of military bases around there, guys. Yeah, I would say that particular shipment was and look, this is just me speculating right now. This is, I give rights to, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I would say you've got Lynham, you've got South Cerney, you've got Bryce Norton, you've got other places that I can't mention around there that are big RAF bases. I would say that if you were going to ship something into one of those RAF bases, what you would do is you would ship it into the civilian port, and then the civilian shipping location, then they would distribute that to either South Cerney, Lynham, or you've even got Warminster that's not a million miles. You got loads of military bases around there, guys. Yeah, I don't see, as far as I'm speaking right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say that I believe, this is my speculation, analysis, and opinion, I would say that has some sort of military application, and that is some sort of equipment that is either, again, you've got Didcot, loads of places, guys, loads of places. I would say that is some sort of equipment that was due for the military, and it could be Starlink dishes, it could be drone parts, it could be computers, it could be the amount of stuff that could be is, I could sit here all day and talk about different things. But here's what I'm talking about now, guys. Okay, this is asymmetric. If it is, and I've got to be clear, I don't know if it is, but if this is, and I think it is, this would be asymmetric warfare. So You've got all these expensive drones, and you've got all these expensive military industrial complex, and you've got all this cool stuff. Yeah, none of it works because the logistics company just got burnt down, and all the processor chips, they've been burnt down. So all our drone fleet, millions and millions of pounds, is being grounded. Was there no security on the logistics? No, it's a civilian company. We don't bother with security on that. Oh, right, okay. So you see, Whitney's near as well. Loads of places, guys. Loads of places around that area, guys. You've got loads of military bases. So Martin Quinn is saying there was a house that blew up in Bradford. Bradford? Do you mean Bradford? I don't know if you mean. Well, he's saying Bradford. I'm assuming he says Bradford, but I don't know what it means. They put down a gas leak, but why did the police and the bomb squad clear up? Yeah, I do think there's a lot of skullduggery. Remember, we're in the new age now of super injunctions, where the government can sign a piece of paper. Sorry. We're in a new age now where the government can sign a piece of paper and nobody's allowed to talk about it. Gareth is saying, check out the drone factory that's being built on the Honda site in Swindon. It's huge. So the problem with these, the problem with these big drone sites is they're big drone sites, and the problem with the big drone sites is it can get set on. They can get set on fire. So when we talk about Swindon, that place particularly, we just spoke about it then. Swindon is absolutely surrounded by military bases, RAF bases. There's RAF Lynham, there's RAF South Turney, there's RAF Bryce Norton. There is what else have we got? We've got Didcot, which is a training location. We've got I just mentioned that there's loads of areas around there. We've got Warminster as well. That is another base, and there's other bases as well that are. We've got Whitney, lots of bases around there that and some that I can't talk about. But that whole area with Swindon. So anytime you hear something. Anytime you hear Swindon, you've got, the alarm bells have got to start ringing. Lynham MOD, lots of MOD bases around there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys, hang on. So, hang on. James is saying there's something strange about the Ukraine-Russia war. It's almost like both sides are treading water. There are no heavy blows. The problem is on both sides, their infantry is massively lacking. They don't have the training or the capacity at infantry level to conduct offensive operations. So what happens is they are heavily reliant on their artillery. So in a Western military, you would send out your infantry. Your infantry would close with and kill the enemy. They would do something called a platoon attack or a section attack or a company attack, and they would take that ground. The Ukrainians don't have that capacity. They don't have that training. They don't have that knowledge. They don't have that ability with boots on the ground. So what they're doing instead is artillery, drones. Have they gone out of that location yet? Yes. Right, drive in really quickly. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I really am going to close this down now. Oh, hang on. And then James is saying, Sean, why hasn't Ukraine completely destroyed Russia's oil infrastructure? It's easier said than done. It's a lot harder to do that than actually doing it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, hang on. Freddie is saying X. Right, Sean X. Right. Hang on. What am I looking at for X, guys? What am I looking at on X? I don't know what I'm looking at on X. I'm on the home page on X. Swindon. Yeah, huge explosions, guys. Huge explosions. There's nothing else I can give to this at the moment. I personally think this is sabotage because of the proximity to the military bases. So many military bases around that. That's my initial thoughts. It's a huge fire. It really is. I don't know what's been burnt there. More information will come out as we move forward through time. And again, I'm not convinced that time is linear, but that's a different live stream. Anyway, guys, listen, I am going to close this down now. I will be back. I will not be back on tomorrow morning because I've got something to do. I will be back on tomorrow as soon as I can. If I'm not on in the morning, if I'm not on in the afternoon, I'll be back on tomorrow afternoon at 8. And if not, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me this evening. You guys have been fantastic. You guys pictures are absolutely fantastic. I love your thumbnails. You've got the best thumbnails I've ever seen. Have a good night. Have a good sleep. And just remember, the next time you're paying your taxes, remember, the reason why you're paying your taxes is because some companies are charging £344,000 a month to run migrants around. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go now, and I'll see you tomorrow.